Isn't it funny the types of people that tell us what the PlayStation 5 can and can't do? I know as a fan of gaming in general, and maybe I'm guilty of this at some particular points in my YouTubing or my life or whatever, but honestly, the amount of people that tell us what the PlayStation 5 isn't capable of is sort of mind-blowing at this point. And so I love it when a developer who's not even affiliated with Sony comes out and clears up all the misunderstandings, all the misgivings, all the nonsense, all the false narratives, all the FUD, which if you don't know what FUD stands for, it stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And it's a common tool that fanboys use to sort of discourage people from liking their own platform. In fact, there was a lot of FUD against the Xbox One at the beginning of the generation, almost to the point where I was going to cancel my pre-order for it, but I ended up going through with it and had a good time with it for years to come. But this video should be pretty fun, and I'm looking forward to jumping in and doing it. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally if you guys could just go out there and do that for me. You know, I put a lot of hard work into these videos, and the fact that you guys come out and support means everything to me. There is no channel without you guys, so never underestimate your power. I've listened to a ton of the feedback. Thank you to all the new subscribers, old subscribers, everybody in between. Honestly, it means everything to me. It does, and I can't state that enough. I'm very thankful for each and every one of you. If you ever want to reach out on Twitter or Xbox Live or PSN, I'm always there to talk games or whatever and just have a good time. And if you just want to support me, like I said, a simple like does a lot, or hit the bell so you're notified of everything. I do daily content, and it's definitely much appreciated. So with that being said, the PlayStation 5, very powerful machine. Unlike previous generation, a lot of people are saying a lot of different things about the PlayStation 5, and some of it, the rumors kind of mill starts, and it's not in a good light. And when it comes to the PlayStation 5, I don't understand this. Like, Sony has never really done a bad job designing a console. The PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, even the PlayStation 3, people might laugh and say it was bulky or whatever, and it was expensive, and it was, but the tech that was involved and some of the things that were involved with that console were well worth the money that you actually paid. Yes, it was hard to develop for, but to realistically think that they would go back to make something that would be hard to develop for and not have learned a lesson, it baffles my mind that people actually think that Sony would do this, or that Sony would price their console $599 again. Like, you learn from these mistakes and then you move on, like with the whole RDNA stuff, right? Like, you don't even have to be a technical person. A lot of people are like, what's RDNA? What's RDNA? It's like an advanced architecture, and I try to explain it because I'm not the most tech savvy person. I'm learning this stuff as I go, and I'm trying to explain it as best I can, but it's like, I did a video on that as well, where it's like people are trying to say that the PlayStation 5 doesn't have RDNA 2, despite the fact that it has VRS, and despite the fact that it does hardware-based ray tracing, which are both confirmed to only be possible with RDNA 2. So, for me, you just kind of look at this stuff and you go, well, I don't understand. Sony's saying this, AMD's saying this, all these people and developers are saying this. You have one person way out on a limb trying to claim something else, and people are like, Xbox fans are just like, that's the one I believe that, and I believe that, and it's like ridiculous. Like, listen, I was such, and I'm still an Xbox fan, but I was such an Xbox fan. Like, I was the guy doing that before, right? Like, I would always just want to believe the positive stuff about Xbox, and people would go out of their way and do that, use the negativity towards Xbox One at the beginning of the generation, and I hated that. So it baffles me again why Xbox fans continuously sort of go after PlayStation for the same type of stuff that people went after Xbox for. It's like, didn't you go through that? Didn't you learn anything? Like, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but, a lot of people are claiming that the PlayStation 5 isn't capable of doing, 4K, it isn't capable of doing 60 frames, it isn't capable of doing ray tracing, it isn't capable of doing any of this stuff, and now we're having confirmation from multiple developers on multiple games that that's just not the case. So one of the more impressive, this is at least a timed PlayStation 5 exclusive, is Deathloop, right? So it's an ambitious exclusive, console exclusive, coming out this holiday, and they were actually talking to the game director on IGN about it and what it means to bring it to the PlayStation 5. So, they thought of it as something being pretty interesting, and they like the hardware and stuff like that, and they kind of go into sort of exactly what the game's about, which I'm not going to really spoil it for you guys, but there is a lot of different things that they're talking about, including being able to bring it to PS5 on the next generation level. They're talking about 4K, 60 frames, HDR, ray tracing. He says just having higher fidelity on the screen to make the teamwork shine in that way that it never did before is really exciting. Of course, I mentioned the frame rate. I think that's something really important. Until now, our games on consoles have always been 30 frames per second, but being able to go for 60 frames per second for an action game, it's very exciting. He also noted how the DualSense is allowing for a new level of immersion, which is so important to Arcane's design philosophy. He says it's got a lot of nice features with the haptic feedbacks, the active triggers. We know a first-person game, we really value immersion a lot in our games. We really feel the weapons in your hand and its reaction, how it reloads, how it reacts to reloading. I think that players will enjoy those functionalities. There's something that we are extremely proud to be a part of. It's something so big, a new generation console and the launch of them. It's not every time in a career that you have this opportunity, so we're really thrilled about it. So again, they're going to be able to really showcase the PlayStation 5 4K, 60 frames, HDR, ray tracing, the whole gamut on this game, and it's a timed console exclusive again, because a lot of people don't realize, just how important timed exclusives are for a launch of a console. You're only going to have so much that you're going to be able to put out with the first party, and to be able to put out stuff like this that really showcases what you're going to be able to do is a huge important thing. And a lot of people keep talking about how it's a situation where the PlayStation 5 quote-unquote can't do 60 frames or can't do hardware-based ray tracing. The funniest thing to me, and I mentioned this before, is people are claiming that Xbox Lockhart at 4 teraflops, that's going to be able to do 1440p, 60 frames, hardware-based ray tracing, despite the fact that the PlayStation 5 is much more powerful, and people still don't think that the PS5 is going to be able to accomplish these things. It's absolutely crazy, and I don't understand it. So now we have the PlayStation 5 is the only quote-unquote next-gen console that has a next-gen only exclusive that's running 60 frames per second, which is Spider-Man Miles Morales. And there's also stuff like this, like Deathloop and other games that are going to be running 60 frames per second as well. We know Gran Turismo 7. There's also a rumor that Ratchet & Clank is going to have a 60 frames mode as well. We're going to see a lot of that. I don't understand why anybody ever thought that the PlayStation 5 wasn't capable or wasn't going to be able to do any kind of interesting stuff or be able to achieve this stuff. It's 16% less powerful, 16 to 18% less powerful than the Xbox Series X. Honestly, you're not going to see huge differences or incapabilities with this console. I just don't care who says what else. Honestly, it's just not going to happen. Developers have a habit of doing things and taking advantage of things just the way that they are. I mean, just look at this generation as an example. The Xbox One X is much more powerful than the PS4 Pro, but most games were pretty much exactly alike when it comes to these consoles. And there were a few standout things, like if you look at Red Dead Redemption 2, but those were few and far between. Whereas if we did see most consoles and most exclusives and stuff like that on the PlayStation side look much better than Microsoft's exclusive on their own side, despite the more powerful hardware. And I would expect the same next generation. I do think that that Sony has to sort of maybe convey it a little bit better, some of the features that they have, because Microsoft has done a good job at having buzzwords and stuff like that, like smart delivery. Sony does that too, but it's not called smart delivery, so people are like, oh, smart delivery, I feel like Sony has to do a better job of getting that out there as well. Same thing with being able to do things. I did a video about the Oodle stuff with the cracking, and that's their backwards compatibility sort of way to handle that, and it's actually much more efficient than Microsoft's way, but nobody is talking about it, so because Sony didn't do a good job of talking about it. I get that you're going forward in the future of gaming, but at the same time you also have to be able to talk and convey all the different parts, right? And it's like, no company is perfect, trust me, because if you look at the Xbox side, you got Phil Spencer literally one day saying for the next 2 years all first-party games are going to be on Xbox One as well as Series X. And then literally the next day, he's like, well, we don't mandate it. So which one is it? And then literally you have him say, we want Game Pass on every screen, every device, ever. And then 2 days later, he says, well, we're not going to put them on PlayStation and Nintendo because they don't want the full complete experience of Xbox Live and achievements and this and that and the other thing. So like, which one is it? Do you want everything on everything or everything but the other consoles? Like, to me, it doesn't make sense, and all these companies have these kind of ups and downs, but it is going to be very interesting to see how it's going to work out. And I'm very interested, and it looks like we're going to be getting some pre-orders soon, at least on the PlayStation 5. I'm hoping we can pre-order both soon, and I'm hoping, against hope, that Microsoft actually gives us a reason to buy an Xbox Series X at launch, because so far there hasn't been that reason. I'm hoping that they do that. So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. I would absolutely appreciate that. If you want to hit me up on Twitter at @the_Crapgamer, Xbox Live MOH space Crapgamer, or PSN just Crapgamer, and I try to respond to everybody. Just try messaging me. I love good conversation. Keep it civil, and we can even debate. It doesn't matter to me. I just love talking video games. So thank you so much. Please stay safe, happy, healthy, and thank you so much for taking time out to watch one of my videos. Rack 'em up and game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.